Okay, students, as we have learned the direct and indirect costs, we have learned the meaning of direct cost and indirect cost. Now we will explain in details what were the direct materials and direct and indirect labor, direct and indirect expenses. Now first is the material cost. Direct materials. It refers to material out of which a product is to be produced or manufactured. The cost of direct material is varying according to the level of output. So direct materials are those materials which can be easily identified from the product. Example, timber in furniture making. If you see a furniture, you can make out that the furniture is made up of the timber. So timber is a direct material. Say for example, again, the shoes, the leather in the shoes. So by looking at the shoe, you can make out that the shoe is made up of leather. So leather is a direct material. So you can understand that those material which can be directly or easily identified from the product are called the direct materials. Next is indirect materials. It refers to the material required to produce a product but not directly and does not form a part of a finished product. The cost of indirect material is not varying in direct proportion to output. Example, fuel, lubricating oil used to make a product. So indirect materials are those materials which cannot be easily identified from the product. By seeing at the product, you cannot make out that this is made up of this material. So those materials are called indirect materials. Next is the labor cost. Direct labor. It refers to the amount paid to the workers who are directly engaged in the production of goods. It varies directly with the output. Example, wages paid to carpenter. So direct labor are those labor who are directly related with the manufacturing of the product. So carpenter, while making the furniture, you can make out that the carpenter is making the furniture. So payment, the wages paid to the carpenter is a direct labor. Indirect labor. It refers to the amount paid to the worker who are indirectly engaged in the production of the goods. It does not vary directly with the output. Example, wages paid to the supervisor. So indirect labor are those labor who are indirectly related with the production of the product. So a supervisor is related to the manufacturing of the product. So the wages paid to the supervisor is an indirect labor. Again, for say example, the wages paid to the watchman. The watchman is giving a safeguard to the factory where the production is going on. So he is also indirectly related with the production. So the payment made to the watchman will come under indirect labor. Next is expenses, direct expenses. It refers to the expenses that are specifically incurred by the company to produce a product. A product cannot be produced without incurring such expenses. It varies with the level of output. Example, higher charges of a special concrete mixture required for civil engineering jobs. So the expenses which are directly related with the manufacturing of the goods are called direct expenses. Example, the concrete mixture which is required for civil engineering job, we know that the mixture is required for the job. So the charges paid for the mixture will come under direct expenses. Indirect expense, it refers to the expenses that are incurred by the organization to produce a product But these expenses cannot be easily found out accurately. Power used for production. So the expenses which are indirectly related with the production of the product are called the indirect expenses.